Hello, I'm Susan Fitzell, and I'd like to share a strategy, a tool with you that I have used for several years that has made an enormous difference in my ability to problem solve with the youth when they came to me with a problem or when I had to discuss a discipline issue with them. Many years ago, back in the mid-90s, there was a lot of information out about emotional IQ. At that time, one of the gems, one of the nuggets that I took away from that research was that students need language for their emotion. Children need language for their emotion. If you have language for your emotion, then you can empathize with that emotion. If you don't have the language, you can't empathize with it. So if you don't know what distraught is, you can't empathize with distraught. If you think annoyed and distraught are the same thing, how can you empathize with annoyed or distraught? It goes along those lines. So given that, and given the struggles I had sometimes with students who would come to me upset and only be able to express how angry they were, I decided to try using a Moodz poster in order to open up the conversation and start to get right to the bottom of what that student might have been feeling when the incident we were discussing happened, or even at the moment that I was talking with him or her. So what I would do is I would take out an 8.5 by 11 Moodz poster, and this is my version of that Moodz poster. I actually wanted a multi-ethnic neutral gender. There's male, female, and who knows, neuter gender on here, because I wanted something that all kids could relate to. So I actually asked my daughter to design this for me, and I think she did a pretty good job. So I would take this poster and I would say to the students, how are you feeling? Before we even start to talk, I really want to understand how you are feeling now. Or if it was about an incident in the classroom or anywhere else in their life that we were discussing, how were you feeling then? Now, the one thing that I would do is I would cover up the angry face. And the reason that I would do that is because anger is a secondary emotion. And students find it very easy to just say, I'm mad, I'm angry. But what do we do about that? What can we do besides say, take a deep breath? It's really difficult to sort out or get to the bottom of what's going on with a student when all they can say is they're angry or mad. Or many of my students had a lot of colorful words to describe the same emotion. So this is where the surprise and the amazement came in when I first started doing this. Many times my students would point to overwhelm. I was feeling this, what that face says. They would point to overwhelm and sometimes not even be able to read the word, not even know what that word was. Well, if a student tells me they're overwhelmed, I can do something about that. I know what to do about it. I can start asking questions to find out what was so overwhelming. What could we do to solve that problem? I could help the student so much more easily than if they just said, I'm angry. The other one that often came up was embarrassed. So often students had something in the classroom happen that embarrassed them. And so when I could question, well, what happened? What embarrassed you? That made a big difference. Sadly, sometimes it might have been something that I said or did that I was totally unaware of, which then was also a good learning piece for me. So this tool, this Moodz poster, was the way I began almost every conversation with a student when we were sitting down face to face trying to solve a problem, whether it was a discipline problem or something they came to me with. And I found this empowering because I felt like it gave me information, that real important information that I needed to help that student. So I encourage you to go to susansgift.com, that's susansgift.com, and download your free Moodz poster. I'd like to make this available to everyone, and you're more than welcome to have it, no charge. If it can help you in your life with your students, or even if you're a parent watching with your own children, to me, that's worth all the effort that went in to designing this poster. Thank you and have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day.